Alrighty. See if we got this working real quick. Cool. Alright, folks. Looks like we are good to go here. I should probably change the thumbnail because that hasn't been changed. You guys want to give me 1 second to do that while you guys start to tune in here? Give me 1 second. We'll just change it after the game. Alrighty, folks. I think we are all good to go. What is going on, everybody? This is Justin Martinez, aka Jay the Sports Dude, coming to y'all live from my apartment. Hopefully you all are staying at your homes as well, practicing social distancing and staying safe during this pandemic. And I'm here to provide y'all with a little bit of extra entertainment. That's right, folks. It is time for yet another episode of Aggie Rewind, the series where I go back and rewatch New Mexico State's games for the 2020-2021 season. We watched the game against Arizona Christian on Monday, since we do this the day after the game. And since the Aggies are fresh off of a victory over Benedictine Mesa, it's time to go back and watch that contest. As you can see, I have it loaded up right here behind me. I think I'm in the bottom left corner or something like that. But yeah, we're ready to watch this one. I'm not going to give any spoilers and say this final score of the game in case you guys don't remember it or didn't watch it. I won't give any spoilers for this. But I am looking forward to watching this contest, and I think we are all good to go. For those who are new, every now and then I'm going to be looking down on my phone because that's where I have the live stream up and running, just so that I can make sure that I'm in the frame, everything's looking good. And also, if you guys do want to comment and have a conversation about just Aggie basketball or basketball in general with me, you guys can do that as well. I'll go ahead and have that right here on my phone, but I think we are good to go. And one last thing, the video is going to be on mute, so that way you can hear what I'm saying. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't even matter on this one because on this game Adam Young did not travel, so it's just kind of ambient noise for this one, just sneakers squeaking and that kind of stuff. So it's on mute, and I'm just going to be doing my best Adam Young and Jack Nixon impersonation here. But let's go ahead and get this one started, folks. New Mexico State 1-0, tipping off against the Benedictine Mesa Redhawks, who I believe had not played a game officially because both of their games have been exhibitions. The first one against Grand Canyon, and this one also counted as an exhibition for them. So they still don't have any games on their official record. But New Mexico State entering this one with a 1-0 record after getting an 83-73 win over Arizona Christian. Johnny McCants going down low and missing the shot. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the box score as well so I can reference it every now and then, just stuff like that. So going into this one, the big name that New Mexico State really had to worry about was Austin Denham. This is a guy who was a senior guard for them. And I believe this is him with the ball right here. Yes, it is. Pulling up on that three-point shot. Someone who does not hesitate to take a shot from deep, moves really well without the basketball, and was the team's leading scorer coming into this one. As we see Donnie Tillman drive into the lane and finishing. You love to see that out of Donnie. We were talking about in the last game, aggressiveness on a more consistent basis. That's what the team was looking to find for him. Coach Janza talked about that a lot in the post-game after Arizona Christian and also the press conference leading up to it. So we got a little move down low. I believe that is Dalton Smith, I believe. I might be wrong. I'm going to pull up these rosters just so I can have this, guys. For you. So we got Johnny McCants with the ball on the perimeter. Jabari Rice with the ball now. Good pass down low. And once again, that's one of those easy misses that Jans was talking about in the last game. This time it's courtesy of Clayton Henry. The drive and thriving Trey Carolina. Guy who didn't play in the first game against Grand Canyon. However, he is a very capable point guard. Good speed, good finishing ability around the rim, as you saw right there, and he had quite a night in this one. Get this box score pull up so we can have that set. Clayton Henry 3-point shot, no good. And it's Johnny McCants cleaning it up down low. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you guys are having a great day so far. Steven M says, Justin. Steven. How's it going, Steven? Hope you're doing well. As always. Okay, there we go. Steven says, sad to hear about Rice. Yeah, for those who haven't heard yet, Jabari Rice did play through this game against Benedictine Mesa. However, he had x-rays today, and he has a foot injury that will sideline him for 6 to 8 weeks. Unfortunately, I don't know any more details on what exactly the injury is, but we just know the timeline as of right now. So we got a travel there by Donnie Tillman, one too many steps. So Jabari Rice is going to be out. According to that timeline, he can return as early as January the 13th, which would be about 5 days into WAC play. So if that's the case, the only series that he would miss would be the first series, the 2-game series against Dixie State, the WAC newcomer, and that'll be on the road in St. George's, Utah. So that would be the earliest date that he can return, and at the latest, it would be January 27th, which would mean that he would miss also the series after Dixie State, which, if I'm correct, I think it's Utah Valley. I'm going just purely off of memory there. Let me go ahead and check just to make sure. No, it's against UTRGV, so he would miss that one as well. Let me see. Actually, no, yeah, he would miss that one as well. So he would be able to return for the January 29th matchup against Grand Canyon at the latest. That's just what it's looking like right now. Again, if I get any more details on what exactly the injury is, if he's ahead of schedule, behind schedule, stuff like that, throughout these next couple days and weeks, and I'll make sure to let you guys know. You can follow all of my updates on Twitter at JTheSportsDude. But yeah, the injury to Jabari is a tough one, without a doubt, especially because Caitlin Williams is already injured. He's going to be out for all of non-conference play. So the backcourt isn't very deep as it is. Jason King, who's a wing player, he can play the 2 or the 3, but still that's another body that they don't have right now because he did miss this game with a high ankle sprain that he suffered against Arizona Christian. So it's looking like guys like CJ Roberts are really going to have to step up. And CJ didn't have the best performance in this one. He fouled out in 3 minutes. So definitely the Aggies can't have that. They need him on the court, especially now with the Jabari Rice injury. So one of the possibilities is that CJ Roberts could get into the starting lineup. Another possibility is that, maybe they could go with a bit of a taller lineup. Since Clayton Henry is so versatile, you could just move him to the 2. You could have Donnie Tillman at the 3. Johnny McCants can go to the 4, and then maybe Wilfred Lakai could be at that 5 spot. That's another possibility. We're still not sure what they're going to do. Personally, I like that one a little bit better. But, it's obviously up to Coach Jans and his staff. I do feel like CJ Roberts is a little bit better fitted off that bench just because he is a spark plug if he can keep out of foul trouble. We got Evan Gilliard with the ball right here, driving the kick out to Johnny Cash Money. Doing a little bit of the mellow right there. Bumps the lead up to 10-4 right now with 15:06 on the clock. We got a timeout. Luckily, these timeouts are edited out thanks to NM Aggie Athletic Archive. That is where I'm finding this video. Shout out to them, as always, for providing this for us. If you guys want to watch their videos, I think they post every single game that New Mexico State plays. They did that last season, and they're doing that this year as well. So make sure to subscribe to them on YouTube, NM Aggie Athletic Archive. Cameron Montaño says, evening, Justin. How are you doing, Cameron? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. As we got Trey Carolina with the bucket there. Now, I do have this on mute. I believe this was foul before the play. Okay. So that one does not count. But once again, Carolina doing a really good job of getting to the rim. He did that a lot early on. I feel like he wasn't as aggressive in the second half of this one. He kind of went quiet. But early on, he was really pushing the tempo here as he has CJ Roberts guarding him. Not the best on-ball defender for the Aggies. As you can see right there, shakes him pretty easily with not even the strongest screen and makes him pay there. So one of the things that Roberts really needs to work on is just his on-ball defense. He can score the basketball. but being a little bit more consistent on the defensive side is going to be important for him. Shot down low, no good. Jabari Rice fighting for the ball, and it will pay off. Aggies with the basketball here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, as I said. Hopefully you guys are doing well, having a great day. I'm in a pretty good day. Obviously the Jabari Rice news is pretty tough. But other than that, today hasn't been too bad. So we got William McNair with the bucket down low. Will McNair pushes the lead up to 12-6. We got a blocking foul there on the redshirt sophomore. So we're still waiting to find out who New Mexico State will be playing next. As of right now, the soonest scheduled game is against Arizona on December 12th. That's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. However, the team has been saying repeatedly that they're hoping to play one game and possibly two games before that matchup against the Wildcats, starting most likely this weekend. Now, they have been talking to some teams. We don't know the details on who those teams are, but they are working the phones every day, Coach Chan says. So we'll see if something comes to that. That is why I postponed my episode of Straight Shooter. For those who follow that, it's supposed to be every Wednesday, which would be today at 6 p.m. or at 5 p.m. However, I really do like to preview the upcoming game on the podcast. So I'm kind of in a tough position right now, and I don't know what you guys want me to do. So right now I was waiting today with just the hopes of something happening with a game being scheduled, but nothing came of it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the podcast tonight. I'll include injury updates. I'll do my takeaways from the first two games. And, I guess I'll just hold on to it as we see Clayton Henry with a nice mid-range shot, or deep two, I should say. And as soon as the game is scheduled, I'll just go straight into my little recording area. I'll record the preview and then I'll put out the full episode. Hopefully that'll be tomorrow, possibly Friday, we'll see. But I do really want to get a preview in for the podcast, since that's probably the biggest part of the series is previewing the upcoming games. As we got Bryce Rewalt getting in the lane there and drawing the charge. Some early minutes for him. Karen Montañez says, the first straight shooter was great. I missed it from last year. I appreciate you for tuning in. I definitely was looking forward to recording it. As much as I enjoyed straight shooter, the thing I did during the off season, it feels really good to do this show just because it is more focused on basketball. The off season one is a little sillier, I guess you can say. If you see Bryce Rewalt missing the shot. The regular season podcast is where I really get to break down opposing teams and stuff like that. And to me, that's the most fun aspect of the job. And yeah, looking forward to getting episode 2. Hopefully I can get it out to you guys soon. But obviously, with the way New Mexico State is scheduling their games kind of on the fly, we're going to have a unconventional schedule for the podcast this season. I'm kind of just going to have to postpone every now and then, maybe move stuff up earlier, do stuff on the fly. So I'll make sure to keep you guys updated with that as we see Clayton Henry with the 3-ball. Once again, I'll keep you guys updated on Twitter at JTheSportsSuit. If you guys want to know what's going on with the team, with my personal schedule, that is the best place to stay up to date, without a doubt. So you got Carolina with the basketball here. That's a blow-by on Evan Gilliard and a tough finish over Wilfred Lakai. That first step to get past Evan, you got to be pretty quick to do that. Carolina very impressive out of the gates right now. So we got a 17-13 ball game here. William McNair backing his man down. Lakai with the shot, no good. Clayton Henry flying in for the basket. The putback chip shot from the Canadian Clayton Henry. I am hoping to talk to Clayton Henry for this upcoming Straight Shooter podcast. We were supposed to talk, or I was hoping to talk today. We weren't able to schedule something, so possibly tomorrow. I really want to get to talk to him because obviously he had quite a big week with that game against Arizona Christian and then another solid outing here against Benedictine Mesa. A guy who played just one game last season due to a series of injuries, but has come back looking better than ever, honestly. We see him getting into the passing lane there, and that's just one of the reasons why you love Clayton Henry's game. Does a little bit of everything for the team there. Cameron Montano wants to know, what do you think about the NBA draft? The Rockets just traded Westbrook to Washington for John Wall and a first-round pick. I saw that right before I went live on that. I just saw it. Yeah, that's an interesting one, without a doubt. I definitely feel like, personally, I never was a fan of the James Harden and Russell Westbrook duo, I guess, that you could say, in Houston. And I felt like once Morey left, at that point you get new decision makers in there. You're just gonna want to change things up, and it didn't look like it was gonna be an experiment where you could reach the championship. I feel like they had a ceiling, where at best maybe they were gonna be a conference finals team. So I definitely was pushing for them to break up that duo. John Wall specifically is an interesting one, just because that contract is, to me, probably the worst one in the league, just because he's coming off of an injury where he hasn't played for 2 seasons. Westbrook's contract isn't great either, don't get me wrong, but at least you've been seeing him play, So I'm a little concerned, especially with Wall, just someone who leans on his speed. To have an injury like he has, it's very difficult for a guy who leans on his speed to come back and be just as good. So it's going to be a risk, but I definitely feel like they needed to break up that duo in Houston. So I'm interested in seeing what happens. I know Wall wanted out of there. It sounded like Westbrook wanted out of there as well. And, Houston might not be done. There's been a lot of talks that they could move Harden as well. Obviously, he's been pushing for a trade to the Brooklyn Nets, which would just be insane. So, free agency was great. We saw a lot of moves, and it looks like we're not done yet. So, yeah, it's exciting times, man. I'm looking forward to the season starting up. So we got Benedictine with the ball here. 24-13 in favor of the Aggies. Shot no good. Donnie Tillman with the contest and the rebound. That's another thing that Jans was saying he really wanted to see more of out of Donnie going into this game, and that was rebounding. He had 4 rebounds against Arizona Christian, and no disrespect to Arizona Christian, as you see Evan with the step back 3, no good. No disrespect to them, but Donnie should be getting double-digit rebounds against teams like this. At the NAI level, he's just too good of a player. And so 4 rebounds, you can't have that. In this one, he finished with 8, so a better effort, without a doubt, from Donnie. And of course, he still scored, does what he does best. He's a scorer down low. So we got the Redhawks going the other way. Kick out and the 3-ball, Cash Money. It's a 24-16 ball game, and then right back. 3-ball, no good by, I believe that is Tennessee Owens, it looks like. My laptop is a little bit far away from me, so I'm having to lean in and make sure that I'm saying the right people. So I apologize if I'm wrong every now and then. But early playing time for Tennessee Owens and Bryce Rewalt. We talked about that backcourt not having a whole lot of depth. So you didn't see Tennessee and Bryce getting minutes this early last season. But they did this time around just because, they are lacking in bodies right now in the backcourt. And you know what you're going to get out of them too. They're going to just be ready for that catch and shoot situation. Shooting a pretty good percentage last season. Both of them in the 40s. I think they were both closer to the 50 range. Just because they didn't take a whole lot. I think Bryce was 5 for 10. So 500. Tennessee was around the same thing. So you know what you're going to get out of them. And obviously with them returning, they're familiar with the system. So I definitely expect them to get some more early playing time in this upcoming game, whoever that is against, with Jabari Rice out. We got 8 seconds on the shot clock here. Gillard with the 3. Yes, sir. Got it to fall. That is his second of the night. And with that, he already has surpassed. He's already passed that. I think he had 5 points in the game against the Firestorm. So he has already passed that in the first half of this one. And really the reason for that was just foul trouble. It's really hard to get into a rhythm when you get some early fouls. So this time around, he did a much better job of it. And obviously, when he's in a rhythm, when he's feeling it, he's dangerous. As dangerous as anybody in the conference, without a doubt. Johnny McCann swinging the ball around here. Back to Evan. Karen Montano, do you think the Warriors can still be a playoff team without Clay? It's honestly, I don't even know if I want them to be, and I'm saying that as a Warriors fan personally. I feel like last year, I wish they would have had the second overall pick for this upcoming draft. This upcoming draft is going to be as good as I can remember in recent memory. It's so deep. Guys like Cade Cunningham. I would really love for them to get a solid pick in this upcoming draft and start thinking about their future a little bit more. As tough as that is to say. But I do feel like they have the talent to be at around maybe a 9 to possibly an 8 seed. I'm not sure. It's going to depend on if Steph can stay healthy. Because if he does, there are people who thought he could have an MVP season last year. He didn't get to play too much. I think Draymond has a lot to prove. This whole team has a lot to prove, honestly. Draymond had a down year. Wiggins, obviously, has had his fair share of critics. Steph, people are saying that he can't do it on his own. So it's going to be interesting to see them, prove themselves a bit. But at the same time, if they had a good draft pick at the end of the year, I wouldn't be mad at it either. So it's kind of how I'm feeling about it. But yeah, the Clay injury is tough, without a doubt. As we see, I believe that's Evan with the bucket there. (29-16). New Mexico State with the lead here. As we got the steal and the easy bucket by Evan there. Hitting the deck. I think that pushes him up to 10 points on the game. Staying aggressive early on. The UTEP transfer doing his thing right now. 31-16. New Mexico State starting to pull away here. Carolina driving the kick out. 3-ball is up. That one is good. So really look at the rosters here, because I am blanking on a couple of these Benedictine guys' names. I apologize for that. I'll have that put up here just so I can remember it. As we got the corner shot, no good by Tennessee, but William McNair getting that rebound. Right back to Evan. This one no good as well, and now it's Johnny with the board. Second chance for Tennessee, and he doesn't miss those. Don't give him a second look. The Las Cruces native. Karen Montano, who do you think the winners were of the draft? He says, my opinion is Charlotte because of getting LaMelo Ball. Charlotte definitely became a way more interesting team for this upcoming season, not just with LaMelo, but with Gordon Hayward as well. I'm really interested to see what they do. The winners of the draft, though, I don't know. To me, I'm really excited about seeing that big three in Minnesota with Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, and Anthony Edwards. Just because they're all so young, I would love to see them grow together. I know a lot of people wanted them to go all in and get Devin Booker because there's that friendship between the three of them. But I didn't see any way that Phoenix would trade Devin, especially how they ended the season, going undefeated in the bubble. So I think getting Anthony Edwards was the right move there. And, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do. I think the winners of the offseason in general right now, one of them has to be Atlanta. The Hawks put together a really good roster, man. They got Gallinari. They added Bogdan after that trade to the Bucks fell apart. I think they got a few too many wings right now. So it's going to be interesting to see who kind of rises from that group. There's got to be an odd man out at some point, most likely, but they have a lot of young talent on that team, and that's going to be super exciting to follow as well. But obviously, one of the winners of free agency, the Houston Rockets, picking up Trevelin Queen. You can see rocking the Trevelin Queen shirt here. Just happy, man. I'm just happy to to see him get an opportunity. You knew somebody was going to give him a chance after he went undrafted. And it's tough. As much as you would have liked to have seen him go drafted, once you got down to those final few picks, you kind of just feel like maybe it's best if he doesn't go drafted because he can actually have a say in where he goes. As we got the shot, no good there. And his agent actually said the same thing. His agent was pretty much saying that towards the end of the draft, they felt like it was best if he did go undrafted and got more of a say in his landing spot. Because Houston's a good fit for him. They just got rid of Robert Covington. So that's one of their main, I guess, their second best 3-and-D player if you want to put P.J. Tucker above him. They don't have that same wing depth that they had last season. They still have Daniel House. I'd imagine P.J. Tucker will probably move back over to there. Oh, as we see the poster slam by Donnie. But there's a chance. There's a chance for Trev to make the roster without a doubt. And from what I've heard, it sounds like he's been doing pretty well. There was a video of Coach Jans talking to the team, and he was reading a text message. As we see Jabari Rice knocking down a three. He was reading a text message from Trev, and he was thanking the coaching staff and everything because he said, I was at training camp or whatever, and I was killing him on both ends of the floor. That's what he said. So you love to hear that. Hopefully he does make the final cut for that roster. But yeah, definitely rooting for Trev, man. Definitely rooting for Trev. Not just because he's an Aggie, but, I did that feature piece on him, which I've been working on for months and months. I think I started working on that in, May. And I put that out the day before the draft. So I've been talking to Trev. And just the more you talk to him, man, the more you want to root for him. Without a doubt. Just humble, professional, and just someone that sounds like he has a good heart, too. In the article, he mentioned that, he wants to open up his own homeless shelter and stuff like that because obviously he was homeless for an amount of time during his JUCO days. So, yeah, definitely rooting for Trev, man. I know I'm getting off topic here, but it's kind of what I'm going to do during this series is kind of ramble a little bit since there are no commentators. But New Mexico State with a 44-24 lead here with a minute 30 left in the first half. Donnie Tillman with the board. Kicking it out to Evan. Thought about it, but instead he's going to drive. And a nice find right there to William McNair for the easy slam. William McNair is another guy that the Aggies really need to step up this season, especially while they're waiting for Mayan Kerr to become eligible. He's not going to be eligible until the end of this semester. So we got the 3-ball there. That one is from Tyler Fernstrom. I have the roster here so I can give credit where it's due. We got Evan driving and thriving. Had his foot on the gas this entire first half. But yeah, especially with Mayan being ineligible right now, you absolutely need William McNair to step up and just be more aggressive, man. He's one of the few guys on this team that's going to have a size advantage night in and night out, as you see him with the swat right there. He's got to take advantage of that. Carolina with the ball here tries to go for the Euro step. As we got, I believe that is Bryce stepping in for the charge. Yeah, Bryce stepping in for the charge, but he doesn't get there in time. It's going to be free throws for Carolina. Definitely, though, once Mayan does come back, it looks like he'll take up a pretty good amount of minutes that Will has. And you don't really know if it's going to line up with Jabari Rice's injury, but I would imagine if he's back before Rice is back, and they probably will go with the lineup of Evan Gilliard, Clayton Henry, Donnie Tillman, Johnny McCanson, Mayan Kerr. That just seems like the best move. So that cannot come soon enough for the Aggies. Really wish they would have been at full strength for a game against Arizona. Even if it wasn't full strength with Marcus Watson and Mayan Kerr, just at least having Jabari Rice, I think that would have been big. As we see the turnaround shot by Evan. ridiculous shot there. You want to talk about a heat check? It's insane. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, for that Arizona game, right before Rice was injured, I think Ken Palm only had Arizona winning by 9 points. So shows you that it wasn't going to be that far off. It wasn't going to be as lopsided as what we saw last season. I think it was like 83 to 55 or something like that. Um, it wasn't going to be like that, I don't think, this year. Arizona did lose its three best players, all of which got drafted. Josh Green, Nico Mannion, Zeke Nahi. And they didn't have a whole lot, or they don't have a whole lot of returning guys. Their top two guys right now, whose names I'm blanking on, but both of them are transfers. One of them came over from Georgetown this summer and gained immediate eligibility. The other one joined the team last year but sat out due to transfer rules. He transferred from Nevada. So I'm not going to say that New Mexico State was the favorite by any means, but definitely Arizona was a little bit more vulnerable this time. So we got Denham with the bucket right there. And the foul. This is the thing that I'm talking about. When you look at Denham play, let's go back a little bit here. Don't want to go too far back. His movement without the basketball is what helps him get open so many times. I think I showed some of the highlights in my preview of this article. But the way he rolls off of these screens, so hard to stick to him. Shakes Clayton Henry, who's one of the better, if not the best perimeter defender for New Mexico State. All it takes is Clayton putting his back to him for a split second and he comes back out to the three-point line. That release, lightning quick. And Clayton doesn't have enough time to recover and contest it. Just a lethal three-point shooter. And while that's one of the sloppy plays, New Mexico State did a pretty solid job of guarding him in this one. I believe he finished with 10 points, which I think he entered this game averaging closer to around 17 or 18. So a good job overall, but as you can see, all it takes is just one split second of putting your guard down, and he's going to make you pay. Jabari Rice driving to the lane, gets it down low to, that is, Clayton Henry for the bucket. Stephen M. Also, Terrell Brown is at Arizona after transferring from Seattle. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, that's a good point. And they brought in a lot of transfer guys. Terrell Brown, obviously a bucket. Leading scorer in the WAC last season. A finalist for WAC Player of the Year. Some people felt like he should have gotten it over Milan. Personally, I did have Milan getting the Player of the Year, just because Cal Baptist was better than Seattle at the end of the day, and that does play a factor. You see Evan Gilliard, just the silky smooth finish down low. But still, Terrell Brown just a bucket without a doubt. Speaking of Milan Aqua, a lot of people still hoping that he will get an NBA contract, along with Leslie Varner, who to me, other than Queen, is the best draft or NBA prospect in the WAC from last season. You see Jabari Rice with a nice finish plus the harm. I love Leslie Varner's game. If you guys follow any of my live streams or podcasts, whenever I talk about UTRGB, I love to talk about Leslie Varner because he's kind of like Clayton Henry in the way he just does everything on both ends of the floor. But he's got more size. Varner, I think, is like 6'7". Shoots really well from three. Excellent perimeter defender. He could definitely be a good 3-and-D player at the next level. And still unsigned after going undrafted. Hopefully a team takes a chance on him because I think he could really be a gem for this upcoming season and just for the next few years. I like him more than Milan Aqua at that next level. So you got Donnie Tillman getting into the lane and finishing plus the harm. That's that aggressiveness that we need to see out of the UNLV transfer, especially against these NAIA teams, because it really isn't fair. It really isn't fair at this point. It's a 4-star guy going up against guys who probably weren't recruited out of high school. No disrespect to them. I got to say that every time. It's nothing personal, but at the end of the day, it's a mismatch, and Tillman needs to be exploiting that. So we got Benedictine with the ball here, down 60-32, with a little over 17 minutes left in this contest. So you got Denham with the ball here. All he needs is a little bit of space, man. A lethal shooter. Definitely the best shooter that New Mexico State has faced so far this season. I think he's better than any of the shooters on Arizona Christian. So you got Benedictine with the ball here. 3-point shot there is no good by Nick Sessions, senior power forward for the team. 3-ball no good by Clayton. Top of the backboard, and that will be Red Hawks basketball. Haven't really talked about it, but this court, I like this court. Obviously, you're not going to get the full stadium experience because there's no bleachers or anything like that other than the ones that are right in front of the screen, I guess, in front of the camera. But it's a nice gym, man. It's the home to Karan Oliver, who has already committed to New Mexico State for next season. He plays at Phoenix Prep, which is this court right here. The facility is what they call it, but with a PHH as part of facility. But yeah, it's a nice gym for sure. I had some people commenting during the game that it almost looked like a video game type of court, which I can kind of see. But I like it. I like it for sure. Still not sure if this is going to be the home court for New Mexico State this season. It's possible. They were the home team for this game. I don't know if that'll be something on a consistent basis. The Aggies really just don't seem to have a consistent home yet. I gotta imagine that it's difficult to go through a season, you know? You can see this is the part where Jabari Rice gets shaken up here. He already had this foot injury before the game and decided to play through it. We see a nice contested shot there. He already had this injury before the game, tried to play through it. You can see right there it is definitely affecting him. At first they thought it was going to be an ankle injury. That's what Jans was saying after the game yesterday. But apparently it was a foot injury. Still able to drive, as you can see right there. I think that just really speaks to this guy's competitiveness, man. He's got to be hurting at this moment. Jabari Rice, as good of a competitor as you will find. As strong of a work ethic. It wouldn't surprise me if he comes back from this injury ahead of schedule, similar to what we saw with Trevelyan Queen last season. I know they're different injuries and different people, but you know, Jabari just seems like one of those guys that's going to do everything he can to get back on the court. Now, with that being said, I hope he doesn't rush it. As much as Aggie fans would love to get him back, at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt him, the Aggies, too much if he misses that first series of WAC play. You know, I'd rather that he gets fully healthy before getting back out there. So we'll see what happens there. Karen Montano, I like the starting lineup with CJ Roberts the most because the Aggies can be more explosive and speed up the game more. That's definitely one of the pros of it. Is we see a rip there by Clayton leads to a foul. Donnie Tillman going to the line there. Yeah, that definitely is. I don't think any of the options are bad, for sure. You know, CJ definitely can. Sorry, I just burped on the live stream. CJ definitely would help with that. You know, that 2-guard lineup with Evan and with CJ would be pretty fast-paced unit for sure. You know, I just like the height just a little bit more. Would look high. I really like what I've seen out of him so far. But you can't go wrong with either option. Especially because as of right now, New Mexico State is able to win on the glass. But I think that once we start getting into like those Power 5s matchups against Arizona, or once we get into WAC play, just Division I teams in general, You're going to need a little bit more size than Johnny McCants at the 5 spot, with him being 6'7", as much as he can, create mismatches because he can shoot on the perimeter. You do need guys that can get the boards, and until I see a little bit more aggressiveness out of guys like Donnie Tillman on the glass, I really would prefer for them to have just a board dominant guy at that 5 spot, just to prevent them from getting beaten on the glass. But we'll see what happens with New Mexico State. They will have options once they are at full strength, so that's the good thing. It's just a matter of when that's going to happen. Benedictine Mesa with the ball here, 64-36, I believe. Trying to see it on that scoreboard. My vision is a little bit bad, guys. I apologize. I believe that's 36. Going up and finishing there. Yeah, New Mexico State with the ball now. Evan Gilliard trying to get into the lane, gets it to Jabari in the corner. Rolling off that screen from Johnny. And finishing down low, but I believe they're calling a foul beforehand. Would have been yet another and one for Jabari after making one a couple minutes ago. Still, though, like I said, that foot injury doesn't seem to be holding him back too much. Playing through it right now. But when the game was over, his foot was pretty heavily iced up. The patella was bothering him throughout the night with him limping. Just a tough break for the Aggies for sure. And there's still also the injuries we were talking about earlier with Kalen Williams, him being out for all of non-conference play. And then Jason King. We're still not sure the severity of King's injury. All we know is that it's a high ankle sprain, but we haven't gotten any actual timeline. From what I've heard, the way that they haven't really provided a timeline is making me think he's kind of just going to be taking it on a game-by-game basis. So he could play the upcoming game. He might not. He's going to be a game-time decision heading into them, I feel. Definitely they would love to have him back, especially with Jabari out, to provide that depth at the 2 and at the 3 spot. So we got Jabari with the ball here. Searching for a lane, getting in there. Going up and getting rejected. Benedictine going the other way. Carolina with the basketball here. The mid-range pull-up, no good. It's Clayton Henry with the board, getting it back to Evan. He's going to slow it down here. Nice little hesitation and a beautiful find to Johnny McCants. I thought Evan's pace in this game was as good as I've seen as good as I've seen from him in an Aggies uniform, honestly. Like, he had the hot hand in the first half. He didn't really go into any sort of like ball hog mode or anything like that. He got his buckets without, I guess, demanding the ball too much, if that makes sense. Just within the flow of the offense. Because it wasn't just scoring from him. He finished with 7 assists in this one. You know, he was dropping some dimes throughout the night in addition to scoring whenever the opportunities presented themselves, you know. Just taking what the defense was giving him in this one. You see him driving. Good kick out there. And you see that's the right choice even though it doesn't fall. So you got Jabari fighting for the rebound. It's hurting, man. It's tough to see. Just giving it his all out there. Cameron Montaño says, I know that the game with Arizona was just scheduled, but in your opinion, what do the Aggies need to do in order to have a chance to win against Arizona? Honestly, I haven't really done too much of a scouting report on them. I know the players that are in the mix, but I really haven't looked too much into the advanced stats on the team. So I don't want to just BS you and just ramble about it. So I'm not too sure as of right now. I'll probably start doing my research on it next week, just as we get closer to the game, because it is next Saturday, so I haven't gotten around to it just yet. But yeah, I don't really have any keys to success or anything like that for New Mexico State right now. So you got the Red Hawks with the ball right now, down by 30, just over 12 minutes left. Like I said, though, I definitely think it is more of a winnable game. Or at least it was before the Jabari injury. Now I'm not so sure. But the team definitely isn't as good as it was last season. Talking about Arizona. Because of all the players that they lost, because they don't really have a lot of returning experience. So we see Gilliard, yet another great find to Johnny McCants. I believe that's 3 straight plays where Gilliard connects with McCants for the bucket. Three-point shot there is no good by David Beecher. Trying to learn these names a little bit more, even though I guess there's not really a point of learning them because they're not going to be playing them again. The Aggies have a comfortable lead right here. This game definitely was a lot less stressful to cover compared to the Arizona Christian game. I've talked about it plenty of times, but the print deadline for these games is normally like about 10 minutes after the game is over. So for a game like Arizona Christian, I'm having to write like 2 separate articles, one in case they win, one in case they lose. But for this one, I pretty much had this game written up by halftime. And then I would just include like a couple paragraphs of the second half. So I was a lot less stressed right around this point of the game right now than the Arizona Christian one. Really wish I could have been at the game though. I'm talking to the team constantly, trying to see what the media access is going to be like for every upcoming game. Hopefully I can go to the Arizona game. Although right now it's, 50-50 at best. Just because we haven't gotten any access so far. I tried to go to the first one and to this one as well. Wasn't able to make it happen. So the good thing is these games are in the Phoenix area, so if I do get the green light, I can definitely make the drive out there. I don't even need to fly. Especially the Arizona one, with it being in Tucson, you save a good hour and a half, 2 hours, as opposed to driving out there to Phoenix. So I can make that drive. It's just a matter of getting the approval for the team. Hopefully I'll be able to do that a few times this season, during non-conference play, during WAC play, all of that. We will see what happens. I know I say we will see a lot, but the thing with this season is honestly it is kind of just a day-by-day type of deal. Don't have a whole lot of stuff etched in stone necessarily. But, it's part of the times. You just got to roll with it and just be ready to make that trip, I guess. Benedictine with the ball here, trying to cut into this 21-point deficit. 21? 31. 31-point deficit. Sorry, my math is a little rusty, guys. Gilliard with the ball here. Playing a lot of minutes right now because CJ Roberts had his foul trouble. Like I said, fouled out in 3 minutes in this one. And with him out, there's not a whole lot of other guys that can give Evan a break. So he found himself playing a pretty good amount of minutes here. McCants with the board, kicks back out to Evan, who slows it down for a second. Rolling off the screen from Will. Aggie now on the perimeter. Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one for sure. It just speaks to the... I don't know. I don't want to say it's like he's playing at half effort. I don't want to say that. But it just feels like he could just take it up that one extra notch. Like you need to be throwing those down. You know what I mean? Like, with his size, he just needs to be more aggressive. And I think that's really what's going to take his game to the next level. And until he does that, it's going to be hard for him to carve out minutes because, New Mexico State is constantly bringing in new transfers. So even though Johnny McCants might not be around next year, even though he can with the extra year, but even if he's not around or if Mayan's not around, they're probably going to bring in somebody else that's going to be competing with Will for minutes, At some point, Will has to elevate his game because the minutes aren't just going to be given to him. He's got to earn them at some point and prove that he should be getting those starter minutes, stuff like that. And it really does just come down to that aggressiveness. So we got free throws right now. A little over 9 minutes left in this one. Donnie Tillman subbing into the game for Lakai, it looked like. Clayton Henry also in now. 70-41 in favor of New Mexico State. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, by the way. I'm going to say that just a couple times throughout the night because I really do appreciate you guys watching this with me. I am doing this the day after every game for New Mexico State this season. Thanks to NM Aggie Athletic Archive, this video is being provided by them. You guys can make sure to subscribe to them on YouTube because they do post these full game videos. They'll be doing that throughout this season, so big shout out to them. New Mexico State with the ball now, up by 23. Comfortable lead right here as they try to improve to 2-1 on the season. Gilliard driving. The pass down low to Tillman. And we have a foul. Karen Montano, will you be able to do the Arizona game? It's up in the air. I'm still trying to get the approval from the team to travel out there. I definitely have the approval from my my editor and from the paper in general. They'd be more than willing to send me out there, but it's a matter of if the team is going to be allowing the media to attend the game. So we will see. I don't know just yet, but best believe I am bugging the team as much as possible, as often as I can. Just trying to get that access because I would love to go out there, especially for a Power 5 game against Arizona. I went to the one last season, and even though it wasn't a close game, I really love going out to those Power 5 places. That atmosphere is on a whole other level. So I would love to go out to Tucson again. The stadium was really nice as well. So we got a 3-ball there by DJ Tate, I believe. TJ? DJ? JT? Tate is his last name. I'm going with DJ. Before I look, I'm going with DJ. Yes, DJ Tate. Okay. I got that right. I'm giving myself the credit for that one. I got that one right. Karen Montano, my mistake. I mean, rewatch the Arizona game. Oh. Yeah, that's... Okay, so it is a Power 5 game. And normally, with those bigger conferences like the Pac-12, they will copyright these videos. And while I normally wouldn't care if they copyright it, it wouldn't really matter to me if they copyrighted it after I finish the stream. But the actual stream will just shut down. If you guys followed my Aggie Rewind series during the summer, I rewatched last season's games. I wasn't able to stream the Arizona game, the Washington State game, and the Mississippi State game. And that's because all of those are Pac-12 and SEC. So I'm going to attempt it. I'm going to try to do the live stream. And if it gets shut down, then it gets shut down. So I can't promise that we'll get all the way through, but I will definitely make an attempt, and we'll see what happens with it. But that's about as much as I can promise with it. But that's a good point. I'd honestly forgotten about that. See, that's Cameron Montano being an OG. He knows the struggles that we went through in the summer. Trying to rewatch those. Yeah, those were tough, man. I really wanted to rewatch them, especially the Mississippi State game, because that was the biggest win, I guess you could say, of the season. against the best team, I should say. So, would have loved to have watched that one, but I think we only got like 2 minutes into the stream, and they shut it down pretty quickly. So, we're gonna try it out, but if it doesn't happen, then it wasn't meant to be. But other than that, all the WAC games for sure will be good with that. We haven't had any problems with these NAIA games. Really, it's just Power Fives. It's just the Power Five, so which I don't expect New Mexico State to have too many of those. We got a little update here. New Mexico State women's basketball team is up 42-34 on UTEP at the half. Aaliyah Prince with 20 points for the Aggies. Pretty good showing so far. The Aggies did lose the first game of that 2-game series in overtime about a week ago, I believe it was. And they are up at halftime right now. We do have someone covering that game, so that article will be up on our site later tonight if you guys want to read that recap. William McNair with ball now, getting it to Jabari, once again playing through that foot injury that we now know is something that has sidelined him for 6 to 8 weeks. He played through this one and played quite a bit. I believe he had something like 27 minutes, 15 points, 27 minutes, yeah. Competitor, man. He is a competitor without a doubt. Clayton Henry at the free throw line, speaking of competitors. That motor to crash the glass, and he gets rewarded with a pair of free throws here, I guess a 1-and-1. Was it a 1-and-1? I was looking down, I apologize. Yeah, there we go. 1-and-1. Chance to bring the lead up to 25 for New Mexico State here in their game against Benedictine Mesa. Second game of the season for the Aggies. Second unofficial game for Benedictine Mesa. First one against the Lopes was an exhibition game. This one also an exhibition game for them. But a team that went 14-15 last season. Calling for the tip there, but Benedictine isn't going to get it. That's a turnover. Yeah, even though this team was also NAIA, just like Arizona Christian, you could tell that there's still levels to it. And Arizona Christian being the 9th ranked NAIA team in the country, it's just a better program than Benedictine at the end of the day. So, didn't expect this one to be a close game like it was against Arizona Christian. Also, there's another game under New Mexico State's belt, so they're not as rusty. They're not the away team like they were against Arizona Christian. The Aggies were the pretty heavy favorites entering this one, and they didn't really disappoint here. We got a long three, no good by Denham. Aggies doing a good job on him all night. Again, that is their leading scorer for the Redhawks. But he finished with just 10 points in this one. So you got the shot there by CJ Roberts, no good. The Ranger College transfer had a good outing against Arizona Christian. Finished with, I believe, 8 points. Had a really nice 7-point scoring burst. A little 7-0 run of his late in the stretch that probably New Mexico State isn't winning that game if he doesn't go on that stretch. It was right when Angelo Johnson was starting to catch fire. But CJ did a really good job of just matching that. But yeah, this one he had his problems. As you can see right here, they're calling him for the foul. It just really added up quickly for him. It's funny, Jans had mentioned in the post-game that in the post-game press conference that the 5 fouls for CJ Roberts in 3 minutes had to have been a record. That's what Jan said. And I looked it up. I forget the team or the player But there was a guy who fouled out in like a minute and 30 seconds. He got 5 fouls in a minute and 30 seconds. You think CJ fouled out quickly? Half the time. Half the time. That's insane. I didn't know that. I assumed he would be close to that record. That's why I looked it up. But yeah, like a minute and a half. Insane that you can pick up that many fouls that quickly. Karen Montano, when you write an article about the Aggies game, how do you remember everything and make it so interesting? In my opinion, you are the best Aggie sports writer for the Sun News in recent years. I appreciate that. Yeah, so what I like to do is I have like a split screen. On the left side is the play-by-play. It's the live updating, you know, so as soon as the shot happens, it pops up. And that is normally a good 5 seconds ahead of the actual live stream that I have on the right side of the split screen. So when I see that somebody gets a bucket here, as we see Tennessee Owens with a 3-point shot, if I see that someone gets a bucket and I know, okay, I'm probably going to want to include that in my article, I'll pull out my phone and I'll record the live stream, because by the time I pull up my phone, that play that just happened on the play-by-play is about to happen on the video, if that makes sense. And so once I have it on video, I can actually go back during the commercial breaks, during halftime, and write out those scenes in detail because I have the video there. So that's kind of how I work it. And yeah, I try my best to include, like, you know, there are some people who write their articles where the first couple paragraphs is literally just saying who won the game, and that's about it. And then you go into the actual game article. I like to kind of start mine off with a scene. I just think it really sets the tone for the rest of the article, so I try to pick like the best scene from the game. And in this one, for those who haven't read the article, it was Evan Gilliard's hot start. He had that ridiculous 3-point shot at the first half buzzer. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, yeah, that's going to be the intro, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of how I have always written the game articles. So yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words, though. As much as I love doing all the podcasts and the preview articles, it's good to just get back to covering games, though, for sure. Now the next step is just covering those games in person. We're still working on that. But even if it's with live stream, I definitely love covering these games. Donnie Tillman with the ball now, getting it to William McNair. Swinging the ball around the perimeter. Everybody getting a touch of this one, and it ends with Tennessee Owens shooting it no good. Redhawks going the other way. Swinging it around, shot is no good. And right back down the court, fast tempo here. 3-point shot, this one is good. And it's by Bryce Rewalt, I believe. Let me see, sometimes I get them in Tennessee confused because, again, my laptop is super far away from me. And I don't have the best vision, so I'm leaning in, but that was Bryce with the 3-point shot. So both Las Cruces natives getting on the scoreboard. And Donnie Tillman also getting on the scoreboard plenty of times. He gets to the rim with ease and celebrates there with, that is either Jason King or Marcus Watson, not sure there. But either way, easy bucket for the UNLV transfer. He subs out of the game. Looks like his night is most likely done. Rashana G in the game as well. Getting some minutes. Did not play in the last game. I had a lot of people asking why he didn't. He is healthy. He is eligible. Just didn't get into the rotation. And you know, I talked about it in the Aggie Rewind for that game on Monday. We're going to see that a couple times out of a G. I think he's going to have a similar role to what we saw with William McNair last season. Tends to be the role that freshmen have under Coach Jantz. He doesn't really tend to throw them into the fire too much. So there are going to be a couple of games where, you know, his services just aren't needed and he just won't suit up. It doesn't mean that he's hurt or he's ineligible or anything like that. Just means that he doesn't get into the rotation. Especially when guys like Wilfred Lacaille are playing really well, like he was against Arizona Christian. Agee just didn't get his number called, but he does this time as he misses that 3-point shot. He's capable of hitting those. Primarily, though, he is going to be someone who's a lob catcher, has good footwork, and a nice touch around the rim. That's where he really thrives. But being more consistent at that, not even the three-point line, even if he's just more consistent from the mid-range, just something to provide a little bit more spacing down low, so the paint doesn't get clogged up too much. I think that's going to be really big for his game. Because right now he primarily is a guy who works down low. And he's not the biggest guy either. So at that D1 level, he isn't going to be able to bully people as much as he did in high school. So definitely getting a more consistent shot just from anywhere out of the painted area will be really good for his game. Wilfred Lakai with the basketball now. Tennessee Owens at the top of the arc, putting the ball on the deck. You don't see a whole lot of that from Tennessee. And he gets the assist as well to William McNair. Tennessee Owens with the dime to Will McNair. So we got an 88-55 lead for New Mexico State with just under a minute left. We are on the home stretch of this one. Once this game is over, I will pull up the final box score, and I will also pull up quotes from the team. We talked to Coach Jans after the game, and also Evan Gilliard after the game. So I'll read off those quotes to you guys, and then we'll call it a night. And I'm not sure when I'll get back to you guys with another one of these episodes, because we don't know who the Aggies are playing next. They're hoping to get a game this weekend, as we see Owens getting called for the charge. They're hoping to get one, if not two games before next Saturday. Not this upcoming Saturday, next Saturday, December 12th, when they face Arizona. But once those games happen, I will be rewatching them the day afterwards for sure. As we got Tennessee hanging in the air and finishing. The Las Cruces native driving and thriving. Or was that Tennessee? That was not Tennessee. That was Bryce, I believe. I apologize, guys. Again, my vision is not the best, and I have moved this laptop very far back, and it is hard to distinguish them sometimes. But either way, the Las Cruces native, either way, as they get the bucket, and we are here in the closing possession of this one. I will go ahead and start to pull up box score and the quotes so I can read them off to you guys. And like I said, we will call it a night after that. There we go. And is that the end of the video? It just ends right there? It looks like it does. But there you go, folks. New Mexico State earning the 92-54 win over Benedictine Mesa. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box score here. Let's start off with the Aggies here, because that's probably the one that you guys care about. That would be Donnie Tillman finishing with 17 points and 8 rebounds, and then Evan Gilliard also finishing with 17 points, and he had 7 assists. Both of them tied for game highs in points. And then you got Clayton Henry, 11 points, 7 rebounds. Jabari Rice, 15 points and 4 boards. And Johnny McCants with a double-double, 11 points and 12 rebounds. Really solid outing out of him. The entire starting five for New Mexico State finished with double-digit points. And the leading scorer off the bench for the team was Will McNair with 8 points. A look at Benedictine Mesa. There's 2 guys tying with 10 points. That was Trey Carolina, who had that hot start in the first half. I think he had 6 or 8 of his points in that first half, so New Mexico State did a good job of containing him in the final 20 minutes. He finished with 10 points, and Austin Denham, as I said, the team's leading scorer, also finished with 10 points. Let's go ahead and take a look at the quotes from this one. We did talk to Coach Jans and to Evan Gilliard. So starting off with Jans, is him talking about the team's improvement. He was asked if the team improved, and he said, "I don't know. No disrespect to Benedictine, but Arizona Christian was the better ball club in terms of level of play, so it's hard to distinguish if we were that much better in certain areas. That will remain to be seen from the video." This is Jans talking about the team's scheduling process. He said, "We're working the phones all day long We're close. I'm hopeful that we'll roll something out within 24 to 48 hours. We'd love to play at least one game. I'd rather play 2 games before Arizona. Um, yeah, that is classic Jans. Not willing to say that the team improved. He's definitely someone that has a very high standard. And he's keeping it real. Honestly, you don't know if this really is um, because of New Mexico State playing better or the fact that they're playing an NAIA team that isn't as good as the one they just faced beforehand. So it is hard to say how much the Aggies has improved, but I do think that there were things that you can point to where, okay, we can build off of this a little bit. Donnie Tillman being a little more aggressive on the boards, a lot more aggressive, I should say. He doubled his rebounds from the last game. Evan Gilliard managing his foul trouble and finding a really good balance between scoring and assisting, which is something he's going to have to do this season. Last season, mostly he was looked at as a passer because you had guys like Yvonne, Trevelyan Queen, Jabari Rice, Johnny McCants. Evan was like the 5th option in terms of scoring, 4th or 5th on the team. But in this season, I think he's going to really have to find that balance a little bit more because they are going to look to him to score more than last season. And I think this game is something you could really build on. Even though, again, it is an NAIA team and you have to kind of put that asterisk across all of these stats. But definitely it is something that he can work with. And then speaking of Evan Gilliard, this is him talking about his hot start to the game. He said, "It felt good. I got back into the rhythm of my game. I've always been an attack-minded point guard, just getting in the paint, having a better feel for the game, getting my teammates involved, and also getting a couple of buckets." And then this is him talking about the game against Arizona. And he said, "I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great opportunity for us, especially to see where we're at as a team and as a program. We're going to play hard, follow the game plan, and just stick together. Hopefully we'll come out with the win." So that is going to do it for this one, I believe, guys. Let me see if we got any more comments here. Stephen M says, "I hope the Aggies also play Arizona State because of Joshua Christopher being ranked super high in the ESPN Top 100 of 2020. Yeah, I mean, the more Power 5 games you can add for New Mexico State would be big just because they really are going to have to have games like that if they want to get a good seed in the NCAA tournament, assuming they win in the WAC tournament, obviously, because you need that at the end of the day. They're in that conference, in the WAC conference, where you need that automatic bid. So that's first and foremost, but once that happens, games like the Mississippi State win last season are the ones that really help with your seeding, and Arizona State would be a good one, Arizona as well. It's a shame that Jabari Rice is going to be healthy for that, so their odds of winning those games are a little bit worse, but definitely, getting your name out there and having those opportunities to build your resume is going to be big, so Arizona State would be a nice game to play without a doubt. But I think that's going to do it, folks. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm still not sure if Straight Shooter will go up tomorrow or not, just because I really do want to preview the upcoming game. And from what Jan said in the post-game conference yesterday, he said that they're hoping to have something finalized within 24 to 48 hours. So that would be sometime tonight or sometime tomorrow night. So I'm not sure. I'm thinking for sure I'm going to record the bold predictions. I mean, not the bold predictions. My takeaways from the first 2 games. I'll do that tonight. And then I think I'm going to hold off on tomorrow, like releasing the episode. I'll probably end up releasing it on Friday. And hopefully by then we'll have a game that's finalized. And if there isn't a game finalized by then, I'll just preview the Arizona game. So I think that's what I'll do. So regardless of if a game is scheduled or not, tomorrow I will definitely have the next episode of Straight Shooter, or Straight Shooter I should say, Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. You guys can count on that. So that is going to do it for me tonight, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoy this, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Check out our previous videos. I rewatched the game against Arizona Christian, and also after every single New Mexico State game, I've been posting the press conferences with Coach Jans, and it's always with the player as well. So we've talked to Evan Gilliard so far, and we talked to Donnie Tillman. So if you guys want to go back and watch those, great interviews, as always, from those guys. In addition to a whole lot of other basketball content that we have here, we have the Straight Shooter podcast, we have the Straight Shooter, the off-season web series that I did, if you guys want to go back and watch that. Plenty of New Mexico State content. And then there is also my articles on lcsunnews.com. But I have said that is going to do it about 5 times tonight. So I mean it this time, guys. I am out of here. This has been Justin Martinez, a.k.a. Jada Sports Dude. I'm out.